Disney has been facing an insane amount of backlash recently between the Snow White remake, the Hollywood strikes, and the streaming service price increases, but now they're getting sued for allegedly using nearly every trick in the Hollywood accounting book to hoard hundreds of millions of dollars in profit. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media so you can see when my content is posted, and of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and live streams I create, consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So this is a Deadline article that I wanted to start out with. It says Disney sued by film finance partner TSG, which claims media giant used every trick in the Hollywood accounting book to hoard slate profits. And of course, this doesn't really come as a surprise to many of us because Disney is ultimately a company that is greedy, ran by greedy people. They want to make as much money as possible, and they have seen a lot of giant losses recently. I know in the past year, they have lost over $1 billion. I've talked about it a few times though, but between the failures of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Pixar's Elemental, a few different movies, it has not been doing good for them. Things have not been going well for them at the box office, and when it comes to streaming services, Disney Plus also lost them money. They lost $510 million in the last quarter alone on streaming services, specifically Disney Plus, and they still have to finish up the Hulu deal, which they still owe money for, billions of dollars. So things right now are just kind of a clusterfuck for them, and to hear that they are trying to hoard as much in profits as possible isn't that shocking. But it says Disney has been hit with a lawsuit in Los Angeles Superior Court by film financier TSG, which claims that the media giant used nearly every trick in the Hollywood accounting book to hoard hundreds of millions in profit. Now, it's not Disney that has come out and said this, but we have seen other CFOs of Hollywood companies come out and laugh in the faces of the creatives who are on strike right now, saying, you are saving us so much in money. You're saving us hundreds of millions of dollars by doing the strike, and you're never going to get what you want. And I bet that behind the scenes, Disney is feeling the same way. I know that Bob Iger had recently made a comment that went semi-viral where he basically just said, oh, eventually they'll cave to what we want from them, and they will come to an agreement with us because they're basically forced to. And that is kind of the mindset right now. But of course, the mindset is always ultimately saving money. It says, echoing the Scarlett Johansson suit over the release of Black Widow across both movie theaters and Disney Plus in 2021, TSG contends that Disney made a number of movies aimed at feathering its own streaming nest. Read the lawsuit here. It says, Warner Media, now Warner Brothers Discovery, faced similar legal blowback from longtime co-finance partner Village Roadshow over the date streaming release of The Matrix Resurrections and other films. So it's basically saying that right now there are several companies kind of going through lawsuits over the same exact thing, but at the same time, Disney is still the largest here. Disney is still the one who is being hit for the most money. It says TSG has spent $3.3 billion to help back some 140 projects at Fox, which joined the Disney fold as part of its $71.3 billion acquisition of most of 21st Century Fox in 2019. TSG's credits include The Banshees of Inisherin, Avatar: The Way of Water, Bohemian Rhapsody, Deadpool, The Grand Budapest Hotel, and The Shape of Water. So quite a few larger films, specifically here, as you can see, Avatar: The Way of Water, and the suit names 20th Century Fox Film Corporation and the Walt Disney Company as defendants, referring numerous times to the studio entity as Fox, even though the entity owned by Disney is now called 20th Century Studios. And Disney has not actually commented on this yet, probably because behind the scenes they are scrambling to figure out the situation, because they usually are pretty public. I remember the Scarlett Johansson situation. She had come out and made all these statements about Disney, and then their rep very soon after had come out and said that, it wasn't true. She was blowing everything out of proportion, and we do see how that lawsuit ended. She was successful. But at the same time, They were really quick to respond because they probably knew that it was coming. This one they might not have known. Again, the Hollywood scene and the industry in general is kind of in a state of disaster, especially Disney with all of the losses they've been facing lately. But it is kind of funny to see ultimately because Disney needs a slap in the face from reality, and I don't really care how that happens. I just care that it happens. And if it takes a finance company like TSG to come out and slap them with a lawsuit that is worth tons of money, that's all that I really care about. I just care that they are knocked down a peg, right? Because they have for so long been at the top of the food chain in Hollywood for so many different genres, and I love to see them, just get kind of slapped in the face with reality. And I don't think that, obviously, this is going to kill Disney. I don't think that this is the end of Disney because of this lawsuit, but it is still a very big lawsuit that could affect Disney going forward. We could technically see lesser, or projects, I should say, with less of a budget, right? Because if they are cutting off a line of funds, they might not be able to get those funds another way. They might say, okay, we really need to slow down with content right now. But that's what we've all been saying, that they should be slowing down with content, creating least amount of projects possible at the highest quality possible. Quality over quantity always wins with at least fans like me, right? I don't want to see 10 projects if only 2 of them are good. And look at, Secret Invasion recently. That was a show that a lot of people expected to be good because they had hyped it up for so long. They had so many big names on it. And then it released and it was just a mediocre show. I mean, people were very disappointed. It actually has some of the lowest rated content in the MCU at this point, and there are a lot of people who are saying, wow, this was one of the worst projects I've seen from you guys in a long time, and it cost over $200 million for them to create. That is a lot of money, no matter how you slice the cake, no matter how you cut the mustard. Okay, that is a lot of money to spend on a series that right now is tanking in the eyes of audiences, that is not doing good when it comes to review scores and I'm sure ultimately viewership. They really tried to hype it up and it failed, and this is just kind of the running theme with Disney lately, is they hype up all of these movies, these TV shows, and they don't do good. Look at The Little Mermaid, for instance, right? They said it was going to make so much money, they were so confident in it, and it barely made money, right? Because the budget was like 250 million, and then we heard it was like 50 million for marketing, so about 300 million, and it made 550 million, if that. But of course, now we're hearing, oh, well, the budget might have actually been a little bit lower and those numbers were, dramatized, which is just a clusterfuck in of itself, right? But it barely is making money, if it even really made money, because a lot of Hollywood films need to make at least double what they spent on it. And that was a movie that they were really banking on. Look at Haunted Mansion. That is a film with $100 million budget, and it is not doing good at the box office. There's no way it's going to make money. It hasn't even hit 100 million at the box office yet worldwide. Never mind, going forward, is it going to draw audiences to Disney Plus? Most likely not. Do I think, again, that this is the end of Disney? Not at all whatsoever, right? They still have a lot of money. They have a lot of strings they can pull in the industry, but they are being sued by one of their largest film finance partners, TSG, and it is not looking good for them because they are being accused of using every trick in the Hollywood accounting book to hoard profits. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.